Hello YouTube, it is Erik here. Happy to be back. My dad said there's so much small videos on your channel, why not make a longer one? So I was like, okay, we're gonna make a review. So it's a review of the Canon EOS R5. Let me tell you, first of all, amazing camera. I love it. Expensive camera and a huge problem that I have run into it right now. So I've been on the vacation for the past 2 days with my family for like Thanksgiving, and we've been in the Olympic National Park, so I've got quite a bit of clips. I've recorded in 8K 24 frames per second RAW onto one of my 650 gigabyte pro grade Cobalt, the fastest, most expensive CF Express 2.0 cards out there. It's $900 a piece and it's full, and man, 30 seconds of 8K 24 frames per second at RAW is 10 gigabytes. That is gnarly, huge bitrate. And let me tell you, the quality does back it up though. The quality is amazing. You can crop in to 1080p, you can crop in 400%, and you get the beautiful, crisp 1080p image, which I love so much. It's so good. So, current problem is I love a person who likes to invest into things such as media. I invested 2 years ago into 4 terabyte RAID G technology SSD RAID setup, which was $800, something like that. 1600 retail, which is like insane. I got it on Black Friday 50% off. So it was great stuff. And then a year before, like a couple months before that, I got 2 terabyte RAID, the same thing. Right now, all that is filled up with all my archival stuff, and I'm currently out of space because this 8K camera is producing massive files and I'm unable to keep my raw media, which I always used to do before. But with that sacrifice, I need to invest into new media. That is something to consider if you're gonna be shooting 8K. Overheating, like people were saying, not a problem for me right now. Right now it's cold, it's around 50 to 60 Fahrenheit, which is perfectly fine for using this camera, operating it, and not having any overheating problems at all. So I've been loving using it, it's a joy. 8K time lapses, incredible. Do not overheat, left it for 2 hours at the maximum, which is the video. 8K time lapses, beautiful, great quality, and they work great. Raw photos, photography is great. Not really any nuances there. 45 megapixel files, great detail. You can zoom in, very easy for like Photoshop corrections and stuff. I've been enjoying that, the 45 megapixels, which I've never had before because I've been using the Canon 80D, which is only 24, and which is enough, but 48 definitely, 45 is definitely a sweet spot for me at least, and I do enjoy it in that range. 8K video raw, incredible. I have no clue to edit it yet, so I recorded about 700 gigabytes of footage, and we'll get down to editing it, and I'll unclip a little snippet of audio or some text at the end of the video to tell you how my process with 8K raw video was. 8K not raw, like a all-I format video, great. I mean, it's just a pleasure to work with, very easy. Huge files, are the same as pretty much as 8K raw, but it's already converted, so no need to go through the raw encoding and stuff like that I believe I'll have to do with all this footage that I've captured. But besides that, 4K 120, awesome. Haven't had a chance to use it much yet because I haven't been filming anything that's high motion and stuff like that. So 4K 60, incredible. Pretty much no overheating with the new update 1.1 firmware on this new camera, so it's working great and I'm loving it. 4K 60 is where it's at, but 8K 24, 8K 30, which we're filming at right now, is also incredible, and I do love it a lot. Because man, 8K, the detail is, it's so crisp. It's literally next level, that's all I can say. Let's talk about low light performance for video. Low light performance for video, not bad. Don't expect anything near Sony A7S level of 100 to 102,000 ISO, and you're still seeing like at night, like it's crystal clear day with no grain. That doesn't happen on this camera, but here's some shots that you can see with the Canon 85mm f2 macro RF lens, and it looks great. It's not bad at all. I was able to capture at 1000 ISO with f2, and it was brighter than what my eye could see at that time. So I really do enjoy this camera, and I believe it's worth it. If you got the money and you have the resources to accommodate, to store all this data that it's gonna be producing. Because 8K video, man, if you are a person who keeps your RAWs, which you probably should almost all the time, this is gonna generate a ton of media. What costs did it have to pay for this camera? Camera body, I believe somewhere about $3,900, that's around it. Took 2 months to get, so that was a pain. But then SD cards, CF Express 2.0 cards type B, boy, those are expensive. I paid $1,600 for a pack of 2 Cobalt Pro grade CF Express cards at 650 gigabytes each. They are insanely expensive, but these are insanely good though. Write speed sustained at 1,400 megabytes per second, which is the highest that I found out of any CF Express cards out there, which is why I went for them. And a max peak of 1,700 megabytes, which is for the read speed off of them. Transferring data off of the cards to computer very easy. You just get their transfer module or disk docking bay or whatever. It's $150 somewhere on there. 150, I got it for $100 because I got it used from B&H, and it works great. No problem. 1.2, 1.5 gigabytes per second transfer rates off of the SD card onto computer, and that feels great. I have not been using 1080p on this camera pretty much at all, except for when I do live streaming, because when I live stream I switch it to 1080p and it works great. HDMI out clean works incredible, and I do love it, and I've been using that for that every week for church services, so that's been working great. I had this set up on a gimbal and it was incredible. It was a phenomenal camera and it provides a great image. With a full frame sensor, you're getting amazing results. We've paired the 85mm f2 macro RF lens with the R5 on a DJI Ronin S, and in church we were getting some incredible results of like there's a person in shot and the background is blurred out. It was beautiful, bokeh-licious video and content that we captured. Also, we paired it with a 16-35 f2.8 USM Mark III L lens into an EF with the adapter. We have the ND adapter filter, which works great. The ND, man, I've been loving it. The most stupid thing though is that if you want the clear filter to in-slot for that adapter, you need to spend another $129, even though it's just a piece of glass. That I do not understand. Besides that, the ND filter works great. It's 1 to 9 stops, something like that. And you get, it's all good until like 8 or 7.5 stops. After that, you get a blue color fringe, which is very weird because you're spending like $150, $180 for that filter, and it's $400 for the whole adapter itself as a bundle. So a very stupidly expensive price, and the performance, you get blue color fringing at 9 stops. That I was not hyped about. But besides that, adapter worked great with the 16-35 and on the Canon R5. It was amazing. On the Ronin S, it was performing incredible. We were getting super buttery smooth shots with the ultra wide, and we were able to set up the motor, focus motor. Instead of focus, we set it up for zoom, and we were able to zoom into 35 and do like this weird like effects of like the background floating in and stuff like that. It was incredible. It's a joy to use. This camera it's a masterpiece. I've really enjoyed using it. I hope to have many more good memories with it. Photos are great, videos are great. I can't say it's not anything bad about it, you know. Overheating, like I said, no problems as far because it's cold, 52, 60 Fahrenheit. And in my room where I film, it's around like 70 Fahrenheit, which that's where I keep it at. No overheating problems there. I was able to film for 7 minutes easily at 8K, 24 frames per second, all eye, and no overheating problems. So the new firmware seems to have fixed most of the overheating problems, which I did enjoy, and that's what I've been using. So like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this little video. If you want more of my reviews and like these sample videos and stuff that you can be looking at, I'll be happy to do so. I have R6s at home. Also, I can do a comparison between R6 and R5, which is a joy. R6 camera is really a good budget beast, let me tell you. It really performs at 4K 60, amazing content, because it's 5.2K downscaled. Also for the R5, I have not been using 4K HQ, because I believe it's just 8K downscaled. I have not had the reason to use that yet, so no need for that yet. Checked it, and it's 12 minutes and a half of recording 8K 30 raw, no overheating at all. Camera is no overheating icon, and it's looking great. It is cold, my hands are freezing, but no overheating if it's in the cold. And right now, I believe it's around like 53 Fahrenheit. So camera performing great. Okay, so here is my little audio input about the RAWs. Man, Canon R5 RAW, not easy to edit at all. My computer, which I consider a very beastly laptop, it has an RTX 2070, which is 8GB of video RAM, 64GB of normal RAM, and it has an i7 GPU with 6 cores, 9th gen. That's pretty good, but it was not able to run the RAW at all in Premiere Pro on the timeline. Even when you drop the resolution down to 1/16 of the scale, it was still buffering. So what I had to do is create proxies for the first time ever. With proxies, yeah, it's pretty fine, though it's still pretty laggy. Just from moving around, it still lags ever so often because the files are still back there and they're still insanely huge. Also, one more thing, I do not know how to edit RAW. I don't know how to color grade or color correct it yet. So I was like, yikes, how do we do this? I was gonna get a lot, but then I found out you can just change the color space and the gamma. So what I did for all these RAW files, I changed the color space to BT709 and the gamma to YDR instead of BT709, because BT709 is a very small gamma range and you would have lost so much highlights and shadows. So YDR, this is the same setup that they use for their compressed files, so it's looking pretty good. Also, the exposure value that you saw on the left side of the screen on the top, that's how much exposure compensation I added in Premiere Pro for each clip. So I can say if it's like a daytime clip and you underexpose, you can definitely bring up the shadows and it looks very nice. At nighttime, bringing up the shadows and the detail, you're getting grain that was in the shadow. Besides that, like I said, camera is a beast. Had even more fun recently in Cancun using it for the slow motion. 4K 120, insane. Like the buttery smooth video you get out of it is really just impressive. So I hope you enjoy this. Drop a comment below suggesting what you can change up for future videos and what you want to see more. And I hope 2021 is a good year. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time.